Hey everybody, I'm going to do a quick reactionary video to what I just saw. Joe Rogan came on to Instagram and essentially laid out his plan for dealing with a Spotify controversy, and apologized in essence, but said he'd bring on opposing viewpoints and things like that. And I watched that, and I did not like what I saw from Joe. He actually looked very scared to me. He looked shaken, and this is not a negotiation. Joe's a smart guy. He's probably under tremendous pressure, pressure that I could never understand. I mean, first of all, he's gone to be the most popular podcaster and the most influential media person currently by far, by a large amount. I think Tucker's number two. Joe's probably getting 11, 12 times the audience of CNN. And the people that usually are in control and power, they don't like that. They certainly don't like the fact that a person who they do not control now has all this power and this voice. So they've come after him based on Dr. Malone and Dr. Peter McCullough coming on a show and talking about early treatment. And apparently you're not allowed to do that. They talked about some other things as well, but Dr. Malone has 9 patents, I think, for the mRNA. Is basically the person who invented the technology, or a portion of it that's now being used. And Dr. Peter McCullough is the #1 published cardiologist of all time in this field. So these guys have earned a right to have an opinion, and Neil Young's earned a right to have his opinion, and the yodeling, whatever the fuck she is, earns a right to have her opinion. So everybody can have their opinion, but these doctors are not allowed to have their opinion, and Joe's not allowed to put them on. In the meantime, these people have been banned from every other place. So they've been banned on YouTube. They've been banned on Google. They've been deplatformed from all the social media companies that work, with our government. And they have no other place to discuss it, except for going, out in streets with with tubes or with audio speakers. It's gotten to that degree where they have no voice anymore. But apparently they did for years, where they were working with the government. So Joe was nice enough to put him on, let him talk. And for that now, and for having a huge audience, he's public enemy #1. They're after him. And he has to be stopped with disinformation and misinformation, which they don't tell you what he misinformed you about. And they don't even say that he did it. So they actually don't tell you anything. They just want to shut it down, shut the whole thing down, which tells you everything that you need to know. That this is not about misinformation. Otherwise, they'd say these facts are wrong and here's a correction for them. They just want to shut down all opposing voices. And that's what's been happening for years. And that's, by the way, part of the reason that people have left watching CNN and New York Times and all that, because you see the censorship and you're like, hey, that's not right. If you have better ideas, you have better information, you should have that debate, and you should express that you have better information and beat the people with facts. Apparently that's too difficult. Free thinking is too difficult. All of these things need to just be shut down and turned off. And now Joe Rogan's public enemy #1. It's sad to watch because I can tell he's under a lot of pressure. But what I watched today from him is going to make things worse for him. And I'll tell you why. He's a smart guy. He's way smarter than me. But he should know this. He's been listening to Jordan Peterson, who's explained to him this is not a negotiation. This is not a capitulation scenario where you can say, hey, I'm going to give you an olive branch and this is going to go away. These people are out to get you. These are the kids that were chosen last at kickball, that get given candy while they were screaming in a grocery store. Parents are like, "Here, shut up, have a piece of chocolate." And now they're grown up and they're ready to scream for candy. In this case, the candy is any opposing viewpoints or anything that does not agree with what they think, because they keep in mind this is a big narcissism thing. What they think is that everybody needs to think like them. And the fact that none of the things the news has said have worked or been true, or in any way made things better, or the government's done has made things better for us, is irrelevant. They don't ask those types of questions. the crazy part is they can go to their papers, the same ones they've been reading the whole time. These are the same papers, by the way, that said we did nothing to worry about. The flu was worse than COVID from the beginning. But that's irrelevant because they don't look back and say, we've learned a lot. They can go turn on CNN right now and hear that this is the pandemic of the unvaccinated, and they can hear that the vaccines are safe and effective, and they can move on with their lives and be happy. And they aren't even listening to Joe Rogan. And these are people who probably never even watched his show, but they want to shut it down. And I could tell by Joe's reaction today that it's starting to have an effect. And if I can see that it's having an effect, so can all the other people that want him gone. They don't want him, to have a show. They don't want him to even be around. They were rooting for him to die when he had COVID. That's where they are with Joe Rogan. So this is a battle that's much bigger. And as Jordan Peterson pointed out, the power battle, it's about screaming you to complete submission. It's not about, hey, thanks for putting on opposing voices. It's about shutting it down. So what I saw today with a little bit of the softness, because Joe's a really nice guy, I'm afraid it's going to make things way worse for him in the long run. I'm worried about him. I'm worried about his family. I'm worried about, all of us being the beneficiary of his show, which is a lot more than about COVID. This is a much bigger battle. It's a battle for free speech. It's a battle for being able to go into the arena of ideas and express yourself with information openly. And the fact they're going after, the guy's a comedian that's a UFC announcer that did Fear Factor, where it would put people in snake areas or bugs, or have people eating disgusting things. And to his credit, he's rose up to be, and deservedly so, one of the most powerful people in media history. And the fact that our most powerful organizations have now decided that he must be stopped, that's not good for him. Certainly, the pressure that's being put there, but that's not good for us either. That's not a good sign of a country that is heading in the right direction. If these people of the opposing viewpoint were smarter and less power hungry, they would say, you know what, we're going to present our ideas. We're going to send in our champion to the Joe Rogan show, and we're going to prove that our information is better than the information that some other people have, and win the argument the old-fashioned way. And we would all benefit from that. That's not what's happening, and that's not even being proposed. It's just old irrelevant rockers that used to rock about the free world, now corporate shills for farm companies, throwing temper tantrums for, and I guarantee he doesn't even know what a podcast is. My dad doesn't know how to get to a podcast. I guarantee you Neil Young doesn't know how to get to a podcast. It's not from his generation. That's not what they do. So these are dark times. I'm worried about Joe Rogan with what I saw today. I think that his tact, his heart is in the right place. I think he doesn't know quite what he's up against, and he's a real brilliant guy. But I can't imagine that he understands that what he just did, which seemingly was kind of gentle as can be, is just going to make things so much worse for him. And I hope I'm wrong on that. But Joe, if you end up leaving Spotify because you have to, and I know that's big pressure, I guarantee you'll be making a lot more money solo than you ever did there, because people like me would be happy to pay a monthly fee to listen to you have a podcast without a corporate overlord, where you can't be touched for doing things like, I don't know, providing information that actually saves lives and works. Can't do that. Talking about health and fitness, vitamin D, not allowed to do that anymore, ladies and gentlemen. So we'll keep plugging away here, but this is a fight that he has to win, and we all have to win with him by supporting. And I know, obviously his fans are smart enough to know that Joe's no threat to anybody. And if the information is that threatening to people at a higher level of power, then things aren't looking too good. Everybody stay safe, say your prayers, and we'll get through it together. God bless everyone. Have a great night. Bye-bye.